Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thank you guys for coming to our business tech event that we put on together for you guys. We had a previous panel about 3 months back, and it was a hit, so we decided to have it for you guys here in Lake Balboa. I was gonna say Van Nuys, but Florida, Lake Balboa. Make it sound better. But thank you guys for coming. Really quick, I wanted to introduce Vanessa and Jerry with William Home Branch. They are our sponsors. Awesome burritos that you guys are eating. They provided, so I wanted to give them a quick minute. Let's do a round of applause, guys.
Hey guys, so like Brian said, my name is Vanessa Perez. I'm community manager over at Williams Homes. Jeremy.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Jeremy over here. So thanks so much for having us. I hope you enjoy your breakfast. We like to do things like this just to kind of get our name out there as well and show you what it is we're offering you and your buyers. And specifically, I have a brand new home community out in North Hills. It's 50 units, brand new builds. They're 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. So starting as low as $562,000 and going just under $800,000. We do have October deliveries, and we're paying 3% referral on those October deliveries. We only have 4 of those left. Anything after October, so the escrow has to be open by September, but the closings in October. Any closings that are after October are still at 2.5%. So come, bring them out here. We'll take care of them. All you have to do is register them, and we will take care of the rest.
Awesome.
And I'm Jeremy with Great Western Home Loans. You've probably seen us around here before. We do the Rockin' Realtor Tour with the bus tours once every month. We try to do it. So if you haven't been on one of those, please get a hold of Patrice Cushenberry. Sign up. They're a great time. We go to all of Williams Homes communities here in LA, Castaic, Piru. We have a good time, lunch and all that good stuff. So it's a good time. Please join us on one. We'd love to have you.
Thank you guys so much. And you guys have an agent program, right?
We do have an agent club, and we've got an agent who's already taking advantage of it. So if you go to williamshomes.com, you will see a little banner pop up for the agent club. Go ahead and register there, and you will have access to all kinds of collateral that you can start using on your own social media to distribute to your buyers as well, and then have the latest and greatest in pricing of everything that we have. So go register there just so that we can be top of mind, and you can be top of mind when we've got something new to roll out.
Thank you guys so much. And we got your information, all these little goodie bags, right?
All of the goodie bags, yes.
Wonderful,
Come see
guys.
us.
Come see us, guys.
Thank you guys. Let's give a round of applause, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Awesome, guys. And coming up next, let me introduce you guys the awesome panel of professionals that we have here. Mr. Jordan Orlick with Let's Chats and Mr. Mark Sarria with Velocity Next. I'm going to go ahead and give them a minute to introduce themselves, and then I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of lay of the land of what we're going to go through today. Sound good? So, Mr. Jordan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. Brian, thank you so much for inviting us as well. My name is Jordan Orlick. I'm the CEO of Let's Chat. Let's Chat is an AI company. We do language translations all in real time for our customers, everything from website translation to mobile apps, video subtitling, in-person communications, and anything you can think of translation-wise, we handle that all through AI with that. I'm co-founder and CEO. I've been with the company since we started it back in 2010, so I've been around for a while, before AI was cool, I'd like to say. I'm a developer by trade, so I programmed everything. We now have a team of about 20 people working with Let's Chat. We work very closely with Comcast. If you don't know what that company is, they own Universal, where you see all the movies from. So we work very closely with them. We're going to be on all their websites, in the parks, doing some fun stuff soon with translation. So hopefully you'll see that very soon as well. And that's just a little bit about myself. I'll pass it off.
Thank you, Jordan.
I'm going to stand because I get
Man the room.
There you go.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know I heard there was 170 who signed up. You guys were the faithful that showed up, so thank you for that. My name is Mark. I'm with Velocity Next, and we are an IT consulting company with a focus on AI. We've been doing AI for about 3 years, and our focus has been all on AI. We work with a lot of government contracts, helping government agencies build governance into their business with AI, and also integrating AI into businesses, so recommending companies like Jordan's company here to companies about AI. So my skill set is more broad. We kind of want to learn everything there is about AI, and then we help guide businesses and individuals on how to use AI in their business. So hopefully have some value, provide you some value today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Super excited to have you guys here. Before we kick it off, I do want to take a little bit of time to recognize the committee that put this together, the Business Tech Committee. So if you guys are in the room, can you guys please stand? I want to give you guys a shout out before we end. Usually everybody ends. So my vice chair, Lisa Henry. I have Mr. Nash, one of our committee members here as well. And then our gentleman out in the front taking the names. Those are part of the committee. That's what we do. We put together such events like this to be able to give value to all our members and continue to see what you guys are looking for to put forth for you guys. So if you guys have any suggestions after this, please feel free to talk to any one of us. And we'd be more than happy to take your suggestions down and see how we can implement some more fun educational components in the future. All right, guys, we're gonna have a very open discussion today, okay? We have a few questions that we're gonna be asking our panelists, but I want you guys to engage. This isn't one of those education classes where we're just gonna come and sit in the chairs for 2 hours, mindlessly get lost in Instagram after the first hour, and then go about your way. I want you guys to engage. I want you guys to ask questions. All those questions that you guys came in for a reason here today, right? Let's ask them. Let's see what our professionals can give us their advice, and then we'll go from there. So very much, please raise your hands and we'll call on you and we'll get the show moving. We should be ending by around a little bit before 12 today.
Are we
Sir.
going to get a recording of this?
It is being recorded, and actually we're putting something together at SRAR where we're actually gonna have a YouTube channel where most of our events should be recorded, and you guys can actually go and look at those in the future. So this is exactly what we're doing, is we're building up the repertoire of our library, YouTube, and these other sorts of channels. So a lot of things are coming out for you guys. Just keep a pulse on it. You should see this come out within the next month or two. Okay? Awesome, guys. So with that said, let's go ahead and get today's event kicked off. You guys heard from our panelists. They have been around. They know the way around AI, business tech, and everything in between. That said, let me ask the audience right now. Who has used AI before? Okay. Who has never used AI? Awesome. So we have a little fair share of a good mix of our audience, right? The newbies and the ones that have been around. Where do you guys see AI and its applications being implemented into the real estate community? How do you guys see that coming aboard, and how is that going to change our industry, right? So I'll start with Jordan.
Sure. Well, did you want to talk about your overview first? Or?
Oh, yeah.
He had a quick overview first. And
Oh, yeah,
that
please,
question right after.
please.
Yeah.
It addresses that.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
So
Answer the question.
what I want to start with is actually giving you guys an overview of the state of AI as it is today. AI has been around for 2 years. Actually been around longer than that. The history of AI started with machine learning, which is about 50 years old now, right? And it's evolved to what it is today. So think of that word, evolution. Where we were to where we are today, AI has evolved to this state. It's not that it's new, it's just that it's evolved to where it is today, to where it's much easier for us to now actually start using it, right? But the last 2 years has been where that usage, where we finally are being able to now take advantage of AI in some sense, right? Before, people like Jordan were taking advantage of machine learning, programmer guys, right? Who understood how that worked and put it together. Now we are in a place to where we can take advantage of that new technology. Now, this may be a surprise to you, but because now generative technology has started 2 years ago, it's still in its infancy stage, and we are the testers and the educators of this new technology. As we use it, we are teaching it how we want it to work for us, right? So think of it as an AI as a programmer or a very intelligent person in your pocket where you can talk to and get advice from. When you interact with it, you're teaching that AI how it needs to interact with humans, because AI is still a computer, still a robot. So don't be afraid of it, right? But it is giving you, it has a vast knowledge, meaning that it's been trained on knowledge worldwide, things that we've been providing it for since the internet was born. We've been providing it, and now it's learned all of that up to this point, right? And now we can ask it in almost anything we'd like. So 8 months ago, when we first did this panel, we had a brief discussion about this, and we talked about this, and it was still kind of new for us as well, even for us folks who are in the industry. Since then, it has evolved so much. I mean, it has grown so fast. So when you ask about what is it that is more specific to your industry as real estate agents, actually, what we've seen is this trend where when we first started off, everybody just wanted to put AI next to their business name. My business.ai or my business and AI, which really meant nothing. And for us who are involved, we were like, all right, so what does that actually mean, right? And for me, at least in our research, it means nothing. Nowadays, actually, in the last 3 months, we're actually seeing some progress in that, to where applications, these are applications that we use on a daily basis, have incorporated some form of AI into it. Meaning that the skill sets that you're going to need in order to use these, in addition to using the application, the skill set you're going to need to know is how to prompt. Because the only way to interact with AI today, because it may change in the next 3 months, 4 months, 8 months, is you have to know how to prompt it, right? Prompting is the key to learn. It is the key on learning how to use AI. And if you ever had any doubt as to say, am I even using this right? I'm just typing in what I want. Yes, you are. That's it. You're using it correctly. That's the way exactly how you would use it today. So don't be discouraged and saying, am I using this correctly? Am I doing this right? You're absolutely doing it right. In all the applications that we've examined and tested, the AI component to that application has been to prompt it. We have to prompt it, tell it what we want, tell it what we're looking for, and then it provided us a response based on the knowledge that application has. And that is the difference. Difference is that when you go to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, any of those kind of general purpose AI assistants, it's giving you knowledge on everything that has been trained on. Whereas if you go to a specific application, it's giving you information and knowledge on that application, on that business itself, not necessarily the worldwide. So if you try to go to a specific application and you ask it, hey, I need to know the address of something, blah, blah, if the application was not trained on that, it's not going to give you the right answer because you're prompting it the wrong thing to that application itself. So the generalized application, the Claude, the Geminis, the ChatGPT, they're much best suited for that. But for your specific, what you're looking for, as far as what could be used for you as an agent, are applications that you're already using today and seeing if there's any AI element in it that can help you with your job, right? So let me stop there because I could keep going for hours, but I'm going to let Jordan step in here and say something for us as well.
Perfect. I like that you stand up, so I'm going to stand up just so I feel you with this. But the best way, and just to answer a little bit of the question there that you said there with real estate and everything is, if you haven't used AI, for those who haven't used it in here before, maybe you haven't played with it a little bit, think of it as your assistant. You all now have a personal assistant you can access for free, or if you want to subscribe to them, like $20 a month, it's very affordable for it. And you can ask it or prompt it anything that you like. You can say, hey, help me write an email. Help me answer, this text message to someone. Or more importantly, help me write this listing in a more formal way. Maybe put some cool words in it. I know you're utilizing it for some really awesome prompts there as well. I also just got my father into AI about a month ago. He had no idea what it was. So he now uses it for his business, which is really exciting. And uses it actually to come up with fake articles all the time. So don't use it for bad stuff. But it is fun to think of it like your assistant, and it can help you with anything in the real estate or in your personal life as well. From, like you mentioned, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, any of those out there that are general purpose. And now a lot of the programs that you're using as well do have it built in, as you mentioned. You might see a cool little star icon. That means they have AI in it. That's the icon that all the companies tend to go with, is that little star icon. And typically it's rainbow or kind of a glossy icon there.
Awesome, thank you for that. Divulging on that, we mentioned about utilizing it for listing descriptions, right? Emails and text. That's usually, honestly, for myself and for most of us here, right? That's kind of what we use it the most for, is prompting. Let me get a great description for this 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Northridge, kind of near CSUN, and then it'll give you a whole description. It's still good for us to keep that human component and review what it spits out, right? Especially to make sure we're compliant with fair housing laws and whatnot. But the fact that you have something that you just spit your ideas out to and it gives you a constructed whole paragraph and description is phenomenal. But above those applications, right, listing descriptions and things of that nature, what else do you guys perceive that AI can help us with? Maybe the actual pictures, right? I know there's some applications out there that if you say, I want a cat riding a skateboard, and all of a sudden you see a beautiful cat riding a skateboard, right? So what other applications do you see AI taking a foothold on?
Yeah, so there's a bunch that you can use with AI to help with that. One that I don't know if you utilize currently, you use it for chatbots. So people come to your website, they're curious on, hey, I want more information on this listing. The chatbot can be trained on all your website content, and it can actually answer all those questions for you in real time to that customer or to that individual there. And then it can prompt them to say, hey, if you're interested, here's my phone number, and it can call you directly. So you can have your AI working for you 24/7 to close leads for you on your website through a chatbot. You can use it to generate listing images if you'd like, kind of like a cat, on a tree, whatever you want, hang in there. Type of stuff like that. You can use it to generate pictures. You can now use it to generate videos as well. If you need a video of a location, you can do that. arguably it may have to be trained on some of those images for that location to be proper, but if you want a generic video of, an outside of a house, it could do that for you. You can also use AI to generate photos of yourself. I actually use it as my headshot, which is actually with that email that went out to everyone. You saw my headshot there. There's actually an AI photo I used to generate myself. Mark actually played around with it recently and did it with himself too, which is actually really cool. And there's a lot of programs now, just on the App Store on your iPhone or on your Android device, that you can look up AI photo generation or anything that you may need to help you with listings, to help you with, pictures of yourself, anything that you need, it's all there for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brett. Mark?
Yeah, so I get more specific here. So just full transparency, we are a Lofty partner at Velocity Next. So one of the ways you can we believe you can best use AI in your industry would be in your workflow, itself. So anybody using some kind of CRM system today to keep track of your sales, your people in contact, things like that?
Guys. Room full.
I'm surprised.
I hope you guys
More
can
hands
see CRMs.
up. But so Lofty came to us and we started talking to them about certain things, and they introduced us to their product and we tested it, looked at it, and we're like, yeah, we gave it a thumbs up, it's good to go. The thing that attracted us to Lofty was their innovative way of using AI into their product. So let me give you one example. Lofty, you can create your own website using Lofty, right? They have a website mechanism. They have a landing page that you can build that you can use for that to capture your leads and to show but they also have that integration with the MLS where you do a search and they'll bring in all the homes into your website itself. Jordan mentioned the chatbots. They actually have an AI integrated chatbot into their application itself. We tested it. Chatbots is one of the things that we build as well. Not the way Jordan does it, but the way more AI based, where you natural language, you ask it, hey, I'm looking for a home in certain area, zip code, and then it tells you, yeah, I found these homes for you, there it is, and then it gives you the pictures of where they're at. Well, Lofty built that into their application itself. We tested it and we found it to be actually really, really good, and they keep improving it. They're using AI to do that, and it's customer facing. So this is your leads, or if you're doing any type of internet marketing, your leads go to your website and they can actually talk to the Lofty chatbot, which is your chatbot, and they would ask it natural language question. Just ask it a question however they want, prompt it, and it'll show them the houses and everything else, talk about the locations and all that. So an actual use case of that would be using something like that. The other is, who gets on phone calls and wish that they recorded the call? Right.
Depends what conversation we're having.
So if you're having a meeting and you're setting it up with Zoom or Teams, or I think it's WebEx as well, but mostly Zoom or Teams, if you're having a meeting and you set up a Zoom call with somebody, there's a program called Phantom. Anybody heard of it?
No.
All right. So Phantom is a video recorder, just like what it's doing. It's using the existing applications like Zoom, and it's recording that conversation for you, and then it's highlighting in your conversation, just listening to it, and then highlighting the key points of that conversation. And at the end of the conversation, it actually sends you and the person you met with the outline of conversation with the key points. So if there were any action items that were in their conversation that you wanted to highlight, or it picked up and it wanted to highlight, if there were any follow through that needed to happen, you both get a copy of that conversation at the end. Now, here's what's ironic. Phantom's been around for about 6 months. Zoom, just recently, they've changed their platform a little bit. They're starting to incorporate that same technology in their application as well. So soon, you're going to find that a lot of these companies are going to be edging for space in these AI markets, because they're going to start incorporating, like Phantom is kind of a one-off. They built their own that integrates with Zoom, but Zoom is now building their own technology or their own AI type technology into their application as well. So you'll find that you kind of have to decide which one works better, right? Which one works for me. But I found Phantom for myself has been ideal, because one, as I'm talking and listening, because as salespeople, we should be listening more than talking, right? So as I'm listening to my conversations when I'm on a meeting, I have this option on my screen where I can just hit highlight, and it highlights the conversation. And at the end, I can go back and listen to it and say, oh, this is what they said. Then you go back and take notes of that, or remember what they, whatever I can use that notes for. Yeah.
Is Phantom available on iOS or is it just desktop?
It's a desktop version at this point. Yeah, the iOS not quite there yet, or any type of mobile device not quite there yet because it's meant to be desktop oriented.
There were other apps that you could record conversation, like call recorder or Cube or things like that. But after a while, you see that they stopped working because of the Google's policy, things like that. So the practically don't work anymore. So pretty much.
Which one?
So
the ones that you're using? Yeah.
There's so many apps there, but now there's it's against the law to record and stuff like that. They're saying-
Well, the nice thing about Phantom is when you connect, it actually adds Phantom as another user. So the reason why is because people are doing the covert recording, and that's illegal. But as long as you tell your person you are recording, Phantom creates so you say there's 2 people in your meeting, it'll actually create a third person, the Phantom person, which is a person on the call itself, and they're doing the recording. So as long as that third person, so it's almost like a note taker you invited into your meeting to take your meeting, and that's the difference.
On that same note, since I see it almost every, I'm taking notes as well myself. What are some applications that you guys would recommend? Because I'm sure we all know ChatGPT, right? But there's so many other ones. It's just ChatGPT is more streamlined, more mainline, right? But what are some other ones that you guys would recommend for us in our industry here in real estate?
Sure. That's a really good question. So the ones that I would recommend, I also love the other one, which is by Anthropic. It's called Claude. It's very similar. I know we were talking about it earlier, but it's very similar to ChatGPT. It's laid out much cleaner, in my opinion, with that, is when you prompt it and it comes back with a response. On the left side of the screen, it has the actual technical notes about it. On the right side is the actual response that you would want to do. So if you ask, hey, help me with this email, on the left side, it'll tell you what it did to make the email better, how to answer the questions, how to format it. On the right side, it'll give you the actual response of what you would copy paste, for example, and put it in the email or tweak it however you would like. So Claude is actually very nice for that regard. I like that just better because it's cleaner with that. And if there's any, Claude, yep, CLAUDE.
Okay.
Yes, right? Yeah, it's French. Yeah. Anthropic is the name of the company. So you have to search. You can search up Claude or you can search Anthropic, and it'll get you to it. Yeah. And yes, the same thing. It's free to use and $20 a month if you want to have the pro version, which I would recommend if you use it more than once a day.
One
Yes.
question, do you know what the back end is? Is it called ChatGPT or?
No, it's their own. It's their own.
Claude is
Yep.
their own.
Yep, Claude is their own. And that's why it's different. It'll give you different responses than ChatGPT or from Gemini with that. So it's really good. Also, if there's anyone who's technical in here, if you need any technical questions, if you need to know how a house was built, for example, if you want to ask more programming questions, Claude will be really good at that as opposed to ChatGPT. So it's just really good. It's more trained on technical information, which is really good. Yep.
I found that Chat GPT, when I do, for descriptions, if I put in, give me fair housing words and descriptions, it makes sure that it uses the right terms
Fantastic.
for,
Yep.
primary bedroom instead of master and all of that stuff.
Perfect. That's great. Yep, and that's part of the prompting, which I'm assuming we'll get to at some point today with that. But part of the prompting, the more specific you get, the better it's going to give you the answer on it. Oh, yes.
Question, being relatively new to AI, what kind of security and safety issues are in place and, to kind of protect your privacy and that?
It's great question. I know Mark can probably help me on this one if I mess anything wrong with it. If you have the free account, anything that you put into it, they will use those responses to train the system. On the private account, if you pay for it, then it's just private in your local environment. Is that correct with it? That's what I was under the impression of.
That's correct.
Yes, okay, good. Just want to make sure. Yep, so that's what that is. So if you pay for it, if you put anything private, it's not going to be shared with the system. It's going to stay for your account with that. Some companies, obviously, everyone in here is probably their own individual business with it, so you don't really have to worry too much. Bigger companies like a Disney may not use it because they're still worried with it, but individually wise, nothing really to be worried about at all there. And if you're worried, just don't put personal information in it.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
Issues just to throw in there, like Zoom, for example, he's got a large meeting, we got broker on a manager meeting, and they want to be able to keep that information private. How do you kind of screen for AI that you don't really want in there because you don't want someone recording that?
Yeah. So I would say with what I always tell my government customers, one of the things we work with government agencies is creating governance within their environment on how to use AI.
Yes.
And there's a few rule sets that we use for them. Is one, don't share private information. because it is private information in the public environment stays public. Point blank. It's not your server, it's not your computer,
Yep.
it's in the public space, it's going to be there. When you're be generic as possible in your responses, in your prompts, but as generic, but as you provide it enough information to where it can provide you with a response. Don't upload anything that has any type of sensitive data into it, because into these AI engines, you can't upload documents to help you out with things. And I'll give you an example of how I use that. The other is for recording stuff. Look, we have to use some common sense here too. If you know it's going to be a private conversation, don't record it. You know, that's just common sense at that point. We have to use technology smart. We can't think that technology is smarter than we are. We actually are smarter because we make it. We provide it. We provide the information that it needs to help us. Technology is an assistant. It is not our capture-all. It is not our go-to save or anything like that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can someone share how to get a property description out of AI? It's all new to me. I'm curious, do you like submit photos and it'll look at photos and come up with a description? Or do you just briefly describe the property and then it'll like create a description? Or how does it work with someone who's done it?
Brilliant question.
I just put in a description of the property. I even put in the address. And then, like I said, I say use fair housing terms.
Okay.
And you still need to read it over and make sure everything's in there. And I add to it because I have personal information about the property that AI doesn't. But man, I'll tell you, the descriptions I've been getting, it really.
So it knows, I put the address, it'll know it's
Yeah.
in a park or near what.
Well, I put the address and I say it's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, you know.
You
and-
still put the main components,
Yeah.
Yes.
but you let the machine structure it.
The easiest way to think about it, the easiest way to think about it is like an assistant for you. Imagine your assistant knows nothing about that property, but they're really good at English. And they're really good at phrasing it in a really good way. That's the best way to look at it.
Okay.
And give it as much as you can, and the more you give it, the better it's gonna be. And you can still put pictures in too. And also, if you do have an address, it does search the internet, so we'll be able to see what the listings are through MLS or anything like that. And it can search that depending, yeah.
It depends on the
That's true.
one you're using.
Yeah, depends on the one, yeah.
It's all free?
Yes.
I could actually- Let me get
One of the best things I've done for a prompt when I'm doing a listing description is I say, hey, I'm writing a listing description. Ask me 10 questions on what's unique about this property.
That's really good.
And then it will generate a listing description based on those unique characteristics that make that property stand out compared to every other property.
And that's like, I was looking through it and taking out the description, I was taking out master and stuff, and I'm like, I wonder if I say fair housing, what it will spit out at me. So then I went back in and changed it, put everything else in, I said, please use fair housing terms. And oh my God, it was amazing.
No
I'm
longer
like, okay.
walking distance, right?
Yeah,
More of a stone's
yeah,
throw, no longer a master family bedroom,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
Large bedroom. Sir?
Yeah, how do we know that the pictures and the terminology isn't copied from somebody that, I mean, I know you can only use certain pictures, and if you used a picture that was used by a photographer, and somebody put in, you get yourself in trouble.
So AI doesn't, the way AI works, it gets very complicated on the technical side, but it's broken out, words are broken out into, they're called tokens.
Yes.
Into tokens. So what it knows is A is so much amount of token, the letter, there is inaccuracy, what's called hallucination. So AI will hallucinate, meaning that you give it something and it doesn't really end up being, because you prompted poorly, it's gonna give you a response. And sometimes that response is just made up stuff, is like, okay, that Alice in Wonderland type story when you get it.
Just like humans. Just like humans. Just like humans.
Exactly, just like humans.
You need to use your own picture, like I use my own pictures
can.
that my photographer, I never.
You don't have to.
Pictures.
You don't have to though when you prompt it, because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But if in your listing, make sure you use whatever you're allowed to use in the response. Yeah.
For those of you who've never used like AI or ChatGPT or any of those AI tools that we're using in the industry, just imagine a chat like that's really all it is. It's a screen with like a chat. It just has a place where you put in your message,
Like instant messenger, very well, back in the day, right?
Yeah, which is your direction
That's
of
right.
the prompt, what you're asking him to do for you. It's really easy. She's had her hand raised.
Yes,
Hi,
to the back.
sorry. So I love using AI, amazing. But my issue is coming up with key points, keywords, and really having a conversation with it, and not just having like 2 to 3 sentences. Do you know of any sites where, free sites, where they can give us like template or prompts that
So
are
glad you
long but
asked
not
that.
like generic?
Great question to
So-
ask ChatGPT.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
one of the things that we do at Velocity Next is we've been holding, these are free workshops, and they're prompting workshops. Now they're for beginner level. There's an introduction to prompting. But the nice thing about prompting is we've had people who are using AI on a daily basis to learn how to prompt, and some advanced users, is that most people don't, what we teach are structures of prompting. And that's what many of you is missing. I think somebody mentioned here, I think you mentioned it, how you kind of asked, well, I was shaking my head because like that's a structure. You came up with a structure of how you would prompt, and your structure is actually, it's fair, it's good.
It's
But
good.
it's good.
Could be more.
But of course, there's always room for improvements, right? So one of the things we teach in our beginners class or beginners workshop is the basics of prompting, which takes you to a basic structure that you can then take that and build upon that
So
structure.
that's what you guys offer.
That's what that's one of the things we do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring something up before I get to you. I remember you real quick. We were talking about the different types of AI assistants that are available. So let me put this in your mind real quick. AI comes in 2 variations. AI assistance comes in 2 variations. You got the proprietary versions, and then you got the free open source version. So think of AI assistants as you got your Apples, Microsoft, these are your proprietary operating systems, and then you have your Linux. Then Linux has broken out into so many different variations of the operating system because it's a free source, open source. So the $29 or the $19 a month that you would be paying for each of those would be the proprietary ones. So these are your Claude, your Geminis, your ChatGPT. Those are individual companies that have built their own AI assistant or AI learning languages, and they teach them differently. So ChatGPT may not be good at certain things, where Claude is much better at some things, and then Gemini is much better at something else, right? So it just depends on what you're looking for. So for example, you mentioned Claude being one of the ones for providing descriptions. I found Claude to be the best one for more natural learning, more natural language. Like if I wanted to actually send an email and say, hey Mark, I want to be cool about it, I would use Claude. But if I wanted to be more structured and more general and I'm just like want to brain dump into something, I use ChatGPT because ChatGPT has much more knowledge than Claude at this point, at least in my opinion. Gemini, once in a while, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to use Gemini effectively, but I usually use those 2. Now, if you are not the one who doesn't want to spend $20 a month for each of those 3, there's actually a website that put them all together, including the open source one called POE.com. Check them out. They're $19 a month, same thing, but you get access to all 3. Now, why would you use that over going direct to ChatGPT? Well, number one, if you are in ChatGPT and you have your own GPTs, right, that you've built, you can build those, that's something Claude doesn't have, then you might want to stay with them. But if you don't, and if you're not using any of the APIs like we would use, then you don't need to have that program. If you're on Claude and you don't need to use their APIs because you're not programming anything, there's no point of using that because you're going to use you're going to get the same type of response, the same type of learning model from Poe, which has all 3. And you could switch in between each one. You can say, I want to use ChatGPT. No, let me try Claude. Oh, let me try this one. Or let me try that one. And there's some that are open source on there that are very specific. There's actually one that has for writing listings in there, and it's an open source. They're using the free one, which is called Llama 3, which is created by Meta, who is, as we know, is Facebook. They created their own, which is called Llama 3, and they have it. And so these are like people like ourselves who built these engines, and we put it into Poe, and we said, hey, these AI systems will be very specific. They have a very specific task. So if you're just looking for a real estate listing, there's actually one that just writes real estate listings.
What's API?
Application programming interface. But you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was gonna ask you about that too.
Unless you're going to
don't
develop
worry about it.
applications, then you need that.
This
Okay.
is how we sound to our clients when we're talking
Yeah.
about MLS and SPQs and
Yeah.
TDSs. It's like, what? Right?
They're all speaking English.
Exactly.
Most of the stuff you say is foreign to me. You mentioned you guys have classes. What kind of classes?
For prompting, but not classes, it's workshops. Learning how to prompt.
How could we sign up?
You could get my information and send me an email, I'll send you when we have them. So we don't have them all the time. They're just, we post it out on Instagram, we get people to come in, we get companies to sponsor them as well. So I believe, Brian, you were looking at sponsoring one here for your real estate. And we just they provide the room location, we provide the knowledge.
We're looking at having one here real soon as well, exactly what he had said, a workshop for prompting.
Live.
So, live, correct.
Yeah.
More
Yeah, it's
in-depth training,
hands-on.
more
Yeah.
actually
What you gonna
having the
call
screen up, walking you guys through the prompts and actually
What are you
diving
gonna
deep.
call the class?
We still have yet to team up with, where's Fred? Fred, raise your
Fred
hand.
Education.
He was here, with our educational chair. And,
ChatGPT.
excuse me?
You can ask ChatGPT for the name of the.
There you go. That's true. It's probably gonna fall under AI. It's gonna be the same umbrella. The name shouldn't always be as fancy more than the content that you guys are gonna get out of the class, right? So I always encourage you guys, look at our calendar on srar.com. You'll see everything that comes up. And when you log into MLS, probably like you guys saw this class, prompts you right, hey, we're having a class. You guys are gonna see that as well. And then you guys can sign up when you guys are jumping on MLS.
Two things. Can you train the free versions to learn about you, and then are you going to cover plugins?
So you can train, well, you're not training it. What you're doing, you're by using the application, you're training it already, right? But like, say, for example,
To learn yourself.
Yeah. In ChatGPT, they have that function or that feature where you can create your own GPTs. So GPTs is just you taking a piece of what they do and giving it instructions and specifically what you want the outcomes to be. So you train it on, how you want it to respond, what is this GPT about? So if you can actually create one that says, I just want to write home listings, and I want the outcomes to be natural language. I want you to use MLS language. You can instruct it of how you want it to, and then once that GPT is published, now you can ask it, prompt it, hey, I'm looking for create a listing for me that is in this house, and it'll do that for you based on the instructions that you already programmed it to do.
Like if you write me an email and write my signature line on the bottom that says my name, my DRE, and my information, right? Next time you prompt ChatGPT, write me an email to Raul about the listing that we have, it'll automatically plug it in already because it already learned that that's what you're asking for it to do on your emails every time.
Yeah, let me give you an example. There is one way I use it is to write my newsletters. So I created a GPT that's right in the newsletter, and I gave it instructions. So I just want GPT to give me the outline, not necessarily write it for me, but I'll bring them some ideas. And I said, give me the outline for this newsletter. And at the end of the newsletter, I want you to give me a quote based on what the outline is going to be by Maya Angelou. And it does that. So every time I ask it, hey, I want to write a newsletter about this topic, it gives me an outline of how I should structure it. And then the bottom line will be, here's the quote that you should use based on the outline that I have. So those are things that I've just saved time on because I don't have to go looking through Maya Angelou's poem books and look for the best quote based on what I want to write on. But I give it a description as to what I'm looking for, and then it outputs exactly what I want.
Now, I have gotten the automated phone calls from Google, the AI bot phone calls. And I know that there's some people who are starting to use it in real estate as part of their prospecting. What applications are they using for that?
So I've heard of it. I do have a few applications. I don't have them on the top of my head, but I can tell you that it's going to be short-lived. I would not even.
You think it's going to get?
Oh yeah, I would not even invest in that too much. Bot calling has already been restricted. There's definitely policies that would go into place or laws that go in place to prevent those bot calls. The bot calls industry is definitely trying to lobby against it. They're trying to show that there's a need for it and everything else. So you can probably use it right now and use it as you know, up to the point to where they stop it. But I wouldn't put too much emphasis on it at this point.
One thing I was going to just chime into that really quickly is it could be helpful to use a bot though as an answering machine for yourself.
Yeah.
So if you get a bunch of calls, or maybe you have a brokerage or anything, for answering, you can train the bots kind of like you trained your chat bot, where if someone calls in, it can answer all the questions about listings. It can do everything that you would do, and then at the end, you can say, hey, thank you for the information. Let me pass you off to one of the agents who can then meet you in person or do whatever you need.
Yeah, so you're saying
and
in
record the
calls,
call,
right?
yeah,
Not going out. Yeah,
For
so
inbound is good.
inbound calls will always be all right.
Yes.
It's the outbound calls where that's going to be where.
Correct.
probably
And same with
not.
texting too. If the people text, yeah.
Yeah, have you guys heard of this program? Another realtor friend of mine was using it where he was texting, AI was texting a prospect and essentially managing and answering questions, trying to warm up this lead automatically, right? Have you guys heard of that?
Yes, that's exactly what he was referring to with the texting piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a name for this particular program?
I don't have it on top of my head.
Yeah, the easiest way, you can just, there's a bunch of them that are out there now. You can just go on Google and just do a simple search. Hey,
ask
AI texting, ask ChatGPT for it. They'll give you, there's a bunch of them that are out there, and just find the one that works best.
There's actually, so if you're doing product searches, there's another AI system that works really good at that. It's called, what's that one called? I was using it for a little bit. Perplexity.
Yes, Perplexity.
Is really good.
Perplexity, if you're looking for products, even for yourself as real estate agent. And anybody here has a nice website that you're running? Okay, good. So Perplexity, the angle of Perplexity, what they're going after is Google's search engine. And what they're trying to do is they are trying to become the second best search engine in the world. And the way that works is that Perplexity, when you prompt it for something, so think of how we always thought we should be using Google, right? We go into Google search and we go, hey Google, I'm looking for a restaurant near my home, blah, blah, blah. And Google would just give us a list of websites that probably met our criteria, probably didn't. Well, Perplexity is different. You can ask Perplexity that same question. Hey Google, I'm looking for a restaurant that serves Persian cuisines, that has a specific whatever sauce or whatever like that. Perplexity will not only, it will respond to you in human language and say, hey Mark, I found this restaurant for you. You may want to check it out. This is what's on the menu. And instead of showing you the website, it tells you about it and says, this is what you're looking for, right? And it goes, if that's not what you're looking for, here are a few other locations that may have it. Then you could go into the search engine for the link. So what I did was I did an experiment because I know Brian asked me, when he asked me to do this in January or February, I was like, well, let me see how I could actually use AI today for a real estate agent. So I typed in, hey Google, I'm looking for the top sales real estate agent in Granada Hills, 90344. And to my surprise, to my surprise, it didn't just give me the website of the realtor. It described to me the 3 top realtors and gave me a profile about them, each one. Now, when I clicked on it, it gave me the profile, but it also gave me the source. It says, here are their websites. You can go check them out yourself. When I went to their website was pretty impressive. They actually had a lot of information about themselves on there that allowed Perplexity to say, this is what I found. These may not be the top 3, but these are the top 3 who has enough information for me to give you so you can then make a decision which one do you want to go with. And that prompted me to think about, a lot of prompting going on. It prompted me to think about, I think if you don't have a website, one, you're way behind. If you thought the website was going to be useless, well, guess what? Perplexity is going to make it relevant again. Number 2, if you do not maintain your website or keep enough information about yourself that Perplexity can actually read it and then provide that based on where you live, you're missing out. You're going to miss out because Perplexity is going to be the second largest search engine that everybody's going to start using because the responses that we're getting from them are much better than just going to Google search and looking for that.
You touched on something very, very key right now, right? Our digital presence, our online presence being extremely vital in today's environment, right? How can ChatGPT or any of these AI platforms help us continue to keep relevance in the internet phase, right? Quick example could be I don't know how many of you guys actually post on Instagram on a daily basis, but asking the AI component, right? What should I post on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Give me some ideas. Give me a structure of how to maintain my social media account as active as possible. How can you guys, divulge into that?
Of course, yeah. So also, if you have a website, you can use any of the web builders. Pretty much all of them now have an AI feature in it as well. You can just simply click it like a chat, ask it, hey, how can I improve my website? And it'll say, hey, you can add this page, you can add these colors, you can add these descriptions. It's really good with that. If you don't have a website, just like Mark said, pretty much every single web builder that's out there, whether it's GoDaddy, Wix, Lofty, anything, or any of the ones that you may use like that, all have an AI feature that you can just ask it, hey, I need a website and I need it to have X, Y, and Z, and it can build it for you in a minute, and then you can just tweak it from there. So very easy on that front to get that for your online presence. And also to your point with Instagram posting, help with Instagram posting. LinkedIn posting is really good. LinkedIn also has an AI feature that can help you with the posts. You can have AI come up with a whole schedule for you, come up with the posts, come up with your whole outreach strategy with that. And also to Mark's point with marketing campaigns. If you do anything through Constant Contact or MailChimp or any email marketing blasts, it can generate the whole email content for you with the images, and you just have to copy, paste, and send it out. And then the other ones do have it in it as well. You can utilize the AI there. Very easy, you just gotta find it.
Yeah. If you go to YouTube, there's probably tons of tutorials on how to use AI to build content for your website or content for your Instagram post. But you have to look at what's going to be, what's going to get you the most bang for your buck. I don't know how you guys are using Instagram and Facebook to promote yourself, but I would say if you were looking at what's important down the line, your web presence is probably going to be number one. If you don't have one, I encourage you to do that. We got, like I mentioned, Perplexity, search engines like Perplexity are getting access to those and providing people who are searching direct access with information about yourself to people who are searching. ChatGPT does a decent amount of work of that, but nobody's asking ChatGPT for that kind of information. If they need something like that, they're going to Perplexity. Claude doesn't even surf the internet, so just FYI. If you're using a Claude and you wanted to search for a site or something like that, it won't do it for you. But here's the other thing. How many of you guys are on Instagram? Oh, come on, I should see more hands than that. Tough crowd. On Instagram, have you guys started using the Copilot feature in search? Oh man.
I've used it on Microsoft too.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Copilot on this thing is amazing. As a matter of fact, I built a few things for myself. They do images as well, but Copilot on there, it's pretty darn impressive what they're doing. Now, Copilot is based off of ChatGPT, just FYI. So you're getting the same thing just from them. So I would say give that a shot and see how you can use it, because the reality is only you can really tell how to best use it for yourself, right?
I'm on Instagram now. Where do I find Copilot?
Search.
Search Copilot?
No, if you go to the search icon, the magnifying glass, way at the top, it says ask Meta AI for search. Oh, I'm sorry, not Copilot, it's Meta. Yeah. So this is Llama 3.
It's gonna be Copilot AI?
Yes. No, not Copilot AI. Ask Meta AI for search. So this is a Meta. Sorry. I got mixed up.
I'm so confused.
I can't show my screen, but it's up there. I promise you.
You go to Instagram, you go to the little
magnifying glass at the bottom.
It's going to say use a Meta AI.
And it's also on Facebook as well, if you click the search bar there too.
It's actually active on my search.
Correct. It's the first thing.
Yeah, everybody should have it. They've opened it up to everybody.
Yeah. Well, Instagram and Facebook are Facebook bought Instagram.
So website's the one, what's number two?
Yeah, Meta.
Number two is number two, sorry. Number two, before I get to that. So the one's website. Number two is of course your, the first one is your website. The second time is your social presence, which is what that is right there. Yeah. Somebody had a.
So if I type into Chat GPT a specific question and then answers me, if I type that same question in again, is it going to continue to answer the same way, or is it going to change every single time I ask the question?
Every time you ask the question, even just the same question,
Same words, everything.
it will give you a different response.
Yep.
Regenerate
every time.
Why is it doing that? Is that because it's like
Because it's
in the
generative.
interim it's gotten new information?
No, because it's generative. Remember, it doesn't know what it wrote before. And I mean, it has a history of it, but it doesn't have memory. It's called memory, right? It has a memory of it, but it it figures that, well, maybe the way I wrote it the first time, you didn't quite get it, so let me rewrite it again in a different way. And actually, when you prompt it to write you anything, a good practice that you should do when it gives you this first response is never trust the first response. Ask it for 2 versions at least, and all you got to do is prompt it another version. That's it, and it'll rewrite the same thing over in a different way, and then again another version, and then you read the 3, and then you pick the best one from that. So don't always go with the first response that it gives you.
And the best part also, if you were to ask Mark the same question again, he'd get the same points, but not phrased the same way.
Exactly.
It's the same way with AI.
I would never repeat it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the same words, but it'll be the same thing.
Go ahead.
All right, this is a 2-part question. Number 1, they've said that chat, the unpaid version of it, it's 6 months to a year behind, whereas Gemini is up to date because it's Google. Is that true? And the paid service, it is more up to date.
That's
Number
correct.
one question. Number 2 is, how much is too much when you prompt stuff? When you're writing a prompt, how much do you want to give it? And is that machine understand? Does it get confused?
Yeah, at some point, you're right. At some point, you could prompt it too much. Your prompts could be too much for it, too much information for it. But here's the thing, there is a balance and depends on the structure. So the structure of prompting is that you have an action. So what is it you want it to do, right? Find me, craft a letter, craft an email, create a response to my email. So that's the asking, that's the verb, right? And then you give it context. The context is, what is this about that you want to provide? And then the third part of that structure that we teach is give it an example. If you have an example, provide an example. And that's all you need to actually give you a pretty good prompt back. You follow those 3 things and you'll get really good
And
stuff.
the answer to number 1 question, which is free ChatGPT only 6 months worth of data, whereas
Yes, you're absolutely right. The free version, there's some limitations to it. It's not up to date all the way up to, the knowledge base is not all up to date. The free the paid versions you get up to the date, right? Whatever the language model is learned up to that point.
And arguably that's only relevant if you're doing internet searches or more modern history stuff that you need. If you're just having to craft an email, you may not need the most up-to-date model with that.
Fine.
Yeah.
There was one back there first.
Actually, I have a question. I was going to build off what you were saying
Oh.
earlier about how you generate. And what I like to do a lot is I'll prompt to ask something. And I always do prompts, like I'll do the structure. I'll say, I'm a realtor in California. And I'll be like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, here's what I need. And then if you don't like the response, if you want the response, I go, okay, give me a more concise version. Give me a more professionally worded version of this.
Yes.
One of the other things too you can also do is ChatGPT has a bad habit of yapping. Anybody notice that? It gives you way too much information. You can actually, at the end of your prompt, after you've provided all the information that, as you mentioned, you can tell it no yapping, and you could also say, if you do not know the answer, do not make things up, and it'll actually follow those rules. So just know you can talk to it very mean if you'd like to as well. So that way it's more precise to what you're looking for. Oh, hold on,
Would you guys recommend like AI for research, like real estate related, for example, like I have a client who is interested in selling their investment property. Well, I don't know the first thing about investment properties. Like, would you recommend it for like, hey, what type of ratio should I ask for?
So if you're
research or like, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. What you're asking for is, the question is, should she use AI to ask for research? And what you're actually asking is, should I use AI to educate myself?
Educate myself, yes.
Yes. I would say yes. You can do it for that, definitely. I mean, that's typically how I think we started off as well, as educating ourselves with AI by asking AI questions.
Easy example. hey, ChatGPT, how do you calculate a cap rate for a commercial property?
And it's really good at
And
this,
it'll
by the
tell
way.
you. And if you're not in the commercial realm, try because
And if it's confusing, you could it would keep asking it again, and it will give you a different response every time, and make it as simple as possible. And then you can actually say it. And I like to do this too when I write my newsletter. I tell it write my newsletter, and I tell it write it to me as if I were a 5th grader. And it does it. It actually dumbs it down to that level where I can like, oh, I get it.
You'd be
And it goes,
surprised.
imagine this.
Nowadays, you're pretty darn smart, bro. You've seen their math homework?
Not
That's
insulting
something
5th
else.
graders at all, but yeah, you can actually tell it to write it to you or explain it to you. Explain it to me as if I was an 8th grader.
Or to even like help you create a spreadsheet.
Do their homework.
I
Yeah.
just used it this morning.
I forgot where we're at, but yellow. Okay.
Which application or program would you recommend for an AI video using an avatar of yourself?
Ooh, that's a good one. So the one that I've used in the past is called Synthesia. They were probably one of the first ones to do it. I know there's a lot now that are out there that might be cheaper and not as involvement with it, but you can upload a video of yourself and they can actually make an avatar of you. You can make it say whatever you want, whether with your voice or AI voice with it. And then you can change the background just like you would do with a PowerPoint. So you can have a background of the house, you can have a background of a walkthrough, whatever you like, you can do through Synthesia. Yeah, I think it's SYN, I'm not on spelling bee here, but SYNTHESIA.
5th grader would have got it.
That's true, 5th grader would have got it. But, you know, I have been in 5th grade in a long time, so.
Does that one have audio?
It does, it does. Yeah, it has audio as well.
Some of them that first started off didn't have a good audio.
They worked with a different company that brings in the audio. I don't know if 11 Labs, but I know they work with someone that's similar.
So it's you may have to use a combination of 2 applications, one that does the video and one that does the audio.
Yeah.
Which is 11 Labs is by far the best
for audio.
Not the cheapest, but
that's true.
The best as far as taking. Say you've typed some. Say you've gotten your script from ChatGPT. Take that script, put it into 11 Lab, which 11 Lab actually has a way to write your own scripts nowadays, so you don't even have to do that. And then 11 Labs will do the voice, and you can even use your own voice. You record your voice, and you give it permission to use your voice. It will synthesize your voice and say, "Oh, we know how you sound like," and then read your script in your voice, and then you take that and send it to the video folks. And then
what is it called again?
11 Labs.
11 Labs.
11 Labs.
Yeah. And there's actually a lot of companies out there that are utilizing these AIs, and they're basically the middleman. You want the cartoon figure, you want the video, we'll make it for you. Hire us, we'll do it for you. All they're doing is going this way and utilizing AI to develop what you're asking them to, and then giving it to you. What better way than to cut out the middleman, right, and just go straight to the source.
Just time. If you don't have the time,
if you don't have the time, then go with the company, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Just right here. I'm gonna go to you.
I'm in property management, so I need to be updated with all the laws that change on a regular basis.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't use AI for
Which one
that.
you wouldn't?
No, because the AI only knows what it's been trained on. The training is not up to date. So if they pass something today, AI is not going to know that today.
So it's Google still?
Yeah,
It's
Google
websites.
also.
It's still going to the websites that have that information.
On that note, let me ask you guys this. What if she were to prompt the paid version of ChatGPT? Let me know when HCI DLA comes out with something new on their website.
No, because ChatGPT doesn't prompt you.
Is there any AI?
It's not an alert mechanism.
Probably through, I haven't tried that with alerts. I would say Gemini would probably be able to do that for you because it's a Google system, and it probably still ties into those prompting somehow. I haven't tried that. That's a good question.
Like a scheduler or something.
That might have. Gemini would be the only one that might be able to do it, just because I know they work with
guys
all
are
the Google.
Get better, yeah.
They don't have like 12 fingers, but.
No. Or yes, they do.
And their lips.
Yeah. What apps would you use for, like, say, I create the script, I create the audio based on the script, and then I use the script to generate imagery to go with that. What would I use to generate the imagery or the video to go with the script?
That's where you said right now about you paying the companies to go do the middleman.
That's where you go pay the
You go
middleman.
to those guys, because those guys are doing the trial and error and figuring things out and getting the best results for it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it yourself, you're doing that. You're trial and error. You're figuring out the best results, best voice, the best script. Whereas if you paid somebody to do it, they've done that work for you. So, you know, so that's kind of, right now when it comes to AI, just heads up, a lot of it is going to be trial and error.
Oh yeah.
Especially when the new application pops up and you're like, oh, that's cool, nice shiny object. Guess what? You're the tester.
And you know what's funny enough? You can even ask Bard or Gemini now, ChatGPT, ask it just that. What application can I utilize to come up with these kind of video images? And it will tell you, right? That would be my advice to answer that question.
Yeah, when we started with looking at AI 2 years ago, the challenge for us was just the amount of .ai applications that people put their names on, and the filtering that we had to go through to kind of filter that out. We learned really quickly that within the last year and now, there were about 1,000 applications being released daily. And we were just like, yeah, we're not going to be looking at all that. So we had to really learn how to trim out the noise. Who was around during the .com era, 1998?
We didn't make us age ourselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyways, this whole thing with the AI right now, today, the way we look at it and the way we've seen it is that we've seen that there's this bubble, this AI bubble, similar to what we saw back in 1998 with the .com bubble. And I was a part of that, and I was a victim of that as well, where everybody just started to pop up internet sites and online stores, and everything was on the internet, right? Popping it up. And then all of a sudden, the bubble just grew, and then just poof, just popped. And then we filtered everything out. Then only the strong companies that actually brought value stayed, and they're the ones who we see today. Well, AI, we're in that space right now. There's a bubble, and that bubble is going to pop at some point. Maybe, hopefully later here, but probably not, because AI is still evolving. We're still in the infancy stage, even though we've had it for 2-3 years now. It's still evolving. So that bubble is going to get pretty big, meaning there's going to be a lot of crappy product out there where you're going to be shoveling your money to, and they're going to be out of business in a couple of months because, one, either the main companies, like I mentioned Zoom, right? Phantom may be out of business, where Zoom already incorporated that recording feature into there, where that's what Phantom does, and Zoom has already put it in there now. It's like, okay, so what's going to happen to Phantom now, right? That's exactly what happened. A lot of these things are going to be integrated. These major companies are going to integrate all that stuff into their application itself. So I would say be hasty as to where you go with your money on what you're buying for AI. Word of mouth, definitely talking to consultants, kind of see what works for you, and I'm here and available for you. I have my number available to scan. You can shoot me an email if you're looking at a product and you're like, hey, what do you think about this? Give you our honest insight as to where you should go with that, because there's a lot of noise right now in the industry.
One thing I was going to chime in to your creation point there. Does anyone here use Canva? Have you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Canva is absolutely incredible, and they have a really good AI generation tool in there that can generate videos for you, pictures, anything that you need to add into your videos. And they now also added in voices as well, I think through 11 Labs, so you can actually have your voices in there. I don't think you can clone yourself yet, you still have to go through Synthesia or someone else for that, but you can still add in all that stuff into Canva, and it's free, I think, and then you can get a paid version as well.
Well, the paid version.
Oh, the paid version has AI. Yep, I mean, you're right. The paid version has AI in it, and you can play with it.
And that's what I was referring to, that these applications that you're using for other business applications, they're just going to have AI integrated into it. So.
Yeah, most CRMs are integrating AI as well.
Isn't the new iPhone also integrating AI?
Supposedly, yes. Yeah, supposedly.
We'll see.
Yep.
It's another way to get you to buy another iPhone.
Is Sarria an AI?
Not yet.
Yeah.
As a dinosaur.
Welcome to the club.
Do you suggest, because when a long time ago I secured my name, with the .com.
Yeah.
Do you think that we should secure our names with the .ai?
No. There's no need for that. If you have a .com, you're good.
I would say up your social media presence. Don't worry about having your name.ai. Worry about having an active Instagram, Facebook, social media account, X, because that's where the AI is going to see your digital presence, how active you are. And like Mark mentioned in the example, who's the top agent, top property manager, top whatever in Granada Hills, it's going to see all your traction and spit your name out. In contrast, if you just have a your name.ai but nothing else, where's it gonna pull from?
Yeah, right now
it's about the value.
Yeah, right now I can tell you, if you're on Perplexity, if you search your name, go see what it says about you in Perplexity. And if it doesn't say anything, you start working on it, because Perplexity will.
I did it
tell you, right?
My Zillow account came
It's
up, I
almost
was
like,
yes, doing something right.
this is the perfect time for that, because it's so new that you'll be one of like those two agents, the three agents that showed up when I did that. I was like, wow, that's perfect. You know, they probably don't even know that that's happening to them. But if you were to work on your own website presence and doing the SEO and everything else that we do today, Perplexity is going to find you, and you'll be able to search yourself on there and see what it says, and then work on it.
How do you spell that?
Perplexity, P-E-R. P-E-R, Perplex, P-L-E-X-I-T-Y.
Thank you.
Yep. I think it was something, okay.
Do you foresee AI replacing workers, real estate staff, transaction coordinators, assistants, and ultimately real estate agents?
Will AI turn on us?
No. Short answer is no. And actually, my presentation, I talk about this because I get that question all the time about, is AI going to replace humans? Right? Just generalizing. AI going to replace humans? No, AI cannot replace humans. It will not replace humans.
It does.
What AI will replace are repetitive tasks. It will replace tasks, not humans. Meaning that it will free us from doing those repetitive tasks to do something much more productive. So if there's a human whose job is only to do repetitive tasks, then that human better skill up and do something else, because those repetitive tasks will be taken over by AI. Absolutely. Those are things that we don't need to be doing all the time repetitively, right? So tasks will be replaced. Humans will not be replaced.
And a fair example of that is in the quick service or fast food restaurants. If you go to McDonald's, you'll see kiosks everywhere because they're replacing those order takers with kiosks, and those order takers end up becoming chefs or waiters at particular restaurants, whatever it may be, right? So they're getting different skill sets that the AI can't help with.
If I can touch on that, AI is not going to replace us. It's not going to replace real estate agents. Real estate agents that utilize AI are going to replace the agents that don't. Your workload is going to continue to be this much because you're trying to do everything yourself instead of utilizing the assistant through AI to get those repetitive tasks done. So even in the market, remember when VAs became so popular, everybody started hiring VAs from other countries? Well, the VA was just hired to do repetitive tasks, right? Go into my phone book and update my CRM with all the new people that come in. Well, guess what? There's going to be AI technology that automatically connects that now.
Yeah,
So-
what we've seen is that there's countries who are going to be impacted by this. So countries that already do those repetitive tasks. So India, Philippines, what's another one? I think it's Latin America, Brazil. They are going to feel the impact of this because those repetitive tasks, customer support calls, guess what? There's a chatbot AI agent that can do customer support calls or even some technical calls as well before they hand it off to the level 2, level 3 folks who actually do the work. So answering the phone, getting your information, getting the script of what your problem is, and they go, okay, let me hand you off. Well, there's an AI bot that can do that today, so we won't need, those countries will have to figure out, okay, what's the next evolution for them to kind of figure out. So on a global scale, AI will impact countries. On a macro scale, it's going to impact tasks that we do, repetitive tasks. So think of that. I'm excited about that because I'm like, hey, these are things that have to be done, but I don't have to do it anymore. I could actually tell a robot to do it for me and be like, okay, let me move on to something that's much more productive, that's much more valuable, right? So.
Does it do house cleaning and cooking?
If you buy one of those, what's that robot that X made? There's a whole bunch of Boston Dynamics. The Boston Dynamics are making robots that are AI. Yeah, maybe down the line. Yeah, you'll have a.
Pretty soon,
Your
right?
company is Let's Chat. Is it similar to ManyChat? Like what?
I'm not familiar with ManyChat, that one. But we do language translation with it. Yeah, so we have different APIs, different plugins that companies use to translate anything, their website, mobile apps, videos, documents, anything like that into any of our 104 languages.
So could it be like a plugin where it transcribes videos?
Correct. Yes, we do that as well. Yeah, we can transcribe videos as well. That's not our bread and butter. Ours is for websites and apps. But we do that. We've actually done that for the Olympics. We do it for different companies. We did it for the NFL. We do it for all different.
So when you guys see the captions coming up in a different language on a game or something,
Yeah,
of the
those are
sorts,
from,
right?
from the NFL.
That's coming from them. Yeah. Right, so if you're watching it, you know, the game and it's in English, but you put captions in Chinese or whatever it is,
correct.
That is being transcribed by companies such
So
as
if you watch a movie online and you have the
the captions in a different language, in Portuguese or whatever you want,
Ah.
that's being transcribed by companies such as.
Correct.
With that said, do you guys have any more questions that you guys would like to jump into? Any thought process? Yes.
Just one more quick question. You said obviously you do a monthly letter, like a newsletter.
Newsletter, yeah.
What do you use for that?
Oh, I use MailerLite for that.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Just to, so you can use Constant, Contact, MailChimp.
There's
I
a
use
bunch.
MailerLite, but I have a GPT that helps me to create the newsletter itself.
So you must pay for that because it remembers your stuff, your proprietary stuff.
I pay for the ChatGPT, yeah. The $20 a
Okay,
month.
instead of, like, it can't be free because it would just
No.
keep changing, right?
Yeah. I pay for ChatGPT. I mean, if you're going to use a GPT in ChatGPT, then you have to pay the $20 a month to get access to that.
You can do it free though too, if you're asking about like it generating a newsletter.
You
can
can just
have
prompt
it do it
it.
for you
Yeah,
whenever you need to. I use a free one whenever I need to use it, also for newsletters.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yep.
I mean, it works.
The difference is you're gonna have to prompt it all the time, whereas for me, my GPT, I don't have to prompt, I just tell it what I want and it has my format
Nice.
exactly the way I want it.
Right.
So I just take that copy and paste it. It's right.
If you guys are
It saves
familiar
time.
with, if you guys are familiar with RPR, who's familiar with RPR?
RPR, yeah.
On the MLS, right? It's a feature that you guys are being offered. You can go to RPR. RPR, it gives you scripts, it gives you information, it gives you social media content. It's utilizing the AI technology to give you guys this information. So you go on RPR, that's something that you get when you log into your MLS, and then you get that information and you plug it into, ChatGPT and say, give me a newsletter with this update from August. It'll give you a whole newsletter with that, with those demographics, with all that information that you just plugged into it, right? Then you can do that on a monthly basis. Every first week of the month, you put that on your calendar, you're taking something out of RPR, the information, you're plugging it over here, and it's making it nice for you. You go ahead and blast that email out to your screen, right?
So what is it that you guys offer? What do you do that?
Oh, thank you.
They offer the great conversation we've been having this long, right? But they both have their own companies, right?
Correct.
Jordan has his, like we talked about, his transcribing. Mark has his consulting company as well. And it's another resource for you guys to have someone to call and talk to and actually ask these questions, right? What's your thought process? What's this? What's that? It's like your office branch managers from your brokerages, right? They're there for support.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an idea. Is this going to get us in trouble or not? Same concept. You guys can reach out to them and be like, hey guys, I have this awesome idea.
Yeah, so
100%.
one of the things that I mean, we're a consulting company, so we work with large and small companies to help them understand how to best implement technology and then implement the technology itself. So what we're looking for are like things like workflow automations, right? So I would challenge you guys to think of things that you can automate within your own work, within your own business, because that's kind of what we do for our clients. They call us in, we evaluate their business, and then we look at spaces where a lot of this stuff can be automated for them. Because a lot of them don't even know that they can automate these because they don't go and search for different products or different applications that can help them with these things. So we help them understand what part of their business can be automated down to the micro level and what applications would best be used for that. And the investment in those applications far suppresses the investment in time that they save from the employee being able to do something else, right? So now they can move them off to do something that's much more valuable in their business than just doing those repetitive automated things that can be automated for them.
What application do you suggest for CRM?
Lofty.
Lofty?
Yes, Lofty. Thank you for asking.
What's the bad news on it?
What's that?
What's the bad news on it?
That you could, Lofty, if you scan my QR code, they'll give you a good deal.
Now, we don't necessarily, or I don't know if we have access to large data sets like Facebook, behavioral habits, stuff like that, to do predictive prospecting. Obviously, that's where AI would help.
Yes.
Are there programs out there that utilize or have access to those data sets to help with predictive prospecting?
Yes, there's actually a company that we evaluated called Revolt. Anybody heard of them?
Yeah. Revolt.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, Revolt. Yes. So the thing about them when we were doing when we were examining Revolt, we wanted to understand how they were using AI. Like I said, we see it every day. Companies just attaching AI to the back of their business like if it was a caboose or something like that. Like if they just had a BBL done. And
hopefully it was a good one.
So we were like, well, let me see what this is about, how and why. So when I spoke with their sales guy and their tech guy, they explained to me how you're using AI. So the thing with Revolt and companies of the liking is that it's not, to them, they've always done some kind of predictive analytics. So the way they predict the person is ready to sell their home and that you should be contacting them is they have a vast connection of databases where they get a lot of input, where they have information like who just had major surgery, who's getting a divorce, which child just graduated, how many kids they have in the house, who's going to be graduating, so you have empty nesters. And they take that information, run it through, before they were running it through machine learning, now they're running that information through AI and getting the prediction as to this person will most likely sell their house in the next 6 months. And then they'll give you a list of those people that you can reach out to and say you should be on their radar because in the next 6 months, they're gonna be looking to sell their homes. And that's what Revolt does. And they give you a list of that. And they also will take your list. Like if say you have a list of homes or contacts and you wanna say, hey, run this through your machine, what is the percentage of those people that are going to be selling their home pretty soon? They'll run that through their algorithms and everything else, and then give you a list out and say these are the ones you should be focusing on. The nice thing is that all that integrates with Lofty. You can just take that information, it goes right into Lofty. So now you have that as your CRM contacts, and you're ready to go to reach out, automate it, and do marketing, anything like that. So Revolt is one of them. But there's a few of them out there that do the same thing.
Yeah, because they're taking multiple data sets and
Multiple.
building a model of the person or the.
That's it, predictive model, right? Predictive modeling. I mean, you can do it yourself. Anybody know Python here? Anyone have to do Python?
Python.
Python. There's trend analysis. There's what's the other one called? Trend analysis. Oh, predictive analytics, trend analysis, and the seasonal analysis as well.
The coding.
Yeah.
You had a question?
Not question, actually. I was wondering if you guys have any classes again, like hands-on. So we said we just work with you and we actually learn. I mean, I am, as she said, I'm a Stone Age when it comes to technology. So to be hands-on with my computer and learn, actually do things so I can, use it.
I believe that's what that workshop we were talking about was going to be.
The workshop is hands-on. It's about an hour and a half long, typically. So, and that's prompting though. So it's not learning how to use a computer.
Yeah. I mean, anything that has to do with AI, it's going to be prompting, right? All the questions, everything we're diving deep into right now, how can we use it? Where can we apply it?
Yeah.
It's all going to come into what you're asking of it to do. Prompting is going to be the most important thing, right? Personal use for myself is writing emails. We all write emails all the time, right? It's, hey ChatGPT, respond to the guy's offer saying we're happy with the offer, but we received another one that's higher and we're gonna go with that.
Who uses it?
Simple as that. And then it spits me out a very professional email that I read through, copy and paste, and send it out to everybody that submitted an offer, right? Such things like that. Once you start getting used to it, like anything else, right? Just like your CRMs, like anything else, the more consistent you are with the use of it, the more you're gonna get out of it.
That's interesting. So, do you use Gmail?
I do.
Anybody else use Gmail?
Yeah.
Oh man.
There you go.
So when I spoke about automation, what you just mentioned, that process, that could be automated for your first contact. So in other words, you wouldn't have to do that. Once you get that contact information, like one of the things, I don't do this, but one of the things I do it in a different way, but just thinking out loud how you would do this, you would get that contact name, email, right? in your CRM system, and you connected that to your Gmail somehow,
Mhm.
and then you allow, through automation, through steps, you allow Gmail to take that, read what notes you have on it, and then actually write that email for you, and then automatically send it out. That actually, you can do that today using Gmail. Gmail allows for that type of automation within their platform.
The integrations, right?
Yeah, but no, it's already built in. You just have to know how to use it. Yeah.
Do you know if Office 365 is out?
Not yet.
Has that capability also?
It does not. I have Office 365.
Windows.
Yeah, not yet. Gmail right now is the only one that has it, and I've seen it in a live demo how that would work. And it takes a lot to build, but once you have it set up, man, it's juicy. Yeah. You're talking about just putting the email in, and the first contact goes out, and if they're interested, they get back to you. Now now I got a lead, right? You got somebody hooked. All right, let's go. Let's talk. So.
Yeah, I think with Follow Boss is the same thing. When he sees an email come
Follow
in,
Boss
and
does
you
that
have
too.
a tag, the tag triggers the action,
Okay.
and then
So if you're using Follow Boss does that too. That's right. And I think there's a function in Lofty that does the same thing as well to automate. But if you're just using Gmail and not using any CRM type system like Follow Boss or Lofty, there is still a way to do it.
Now, if there's any key takeaway that you can give to everybody, we went and covered a lot of stuff with AI, prompting, business tech. What would be the one thing that you guys would advise or suggest the group here to do? If you've never done it before, this is my advice for you. If you're a regular user, this would be my advice to you. What would that be for you guys?
So for me, it would be jump in it. Get your hands wet. Do it. It's free right now. There's a free version. Just get acclimated to it and get used to knowing how to prompt. When it comes to prompting, build some kind of foundation for yourself, meaning I understand how prompt works. Now I just need to expand and really learn the structure of prompting so I could get better results. Because what you got to do is you got to use it so you can see the kind of results you're getting. At the beginning, it's going to be crappy, hands down, but just keep using it. And that's how we all had to go through that. We remember, machine learning, probably Jordan was probably the only one in this room who was using it way ahead of us. Everybody else, we didn't start using this until they released it last year or beginning of this year, right? That's when it became accessible to us. So we are all, if you're still in this year, 2024, you're not too late if you haven't used it yet. If you're using it, you're already ahead of everybody, ahead of a lot of people. But if you're just getting started, this is where you start. You start with prompting. You start using the free applications that are out there and just get used to it. Figure out how it can best fit into your life. And we all have to write letters, right? We all have to respond to something. Use it for that,
And so I guess two parts of the question. One is for beginner, one for more advanced users. If it's your first time, I just go to ChatGPT, go to their website, or go to Claude, either one, whatever you prefer, or even Poe. Go to one of those sites and just ask a simple question. Hey, here's my email. Can you make it sound better? That's it. Just use plain English like you're talking to a fifth grader. Easy. And just have it come up with a response and see how you like it if you haven't done it before. And then you get a little bit more difficult prompts with that past then. And you'll start learning as you play with it. The best thing, as Mark mentioned, is just play with it. That's the best way to get your feet wet with AI. For more advanced users, what I would do is ask it a question that only you know the answer to. And see what it comes back with. Because you might be surprised that it may know the answer. And it may know it better than what you do. And that's the best way to really see, to test the system. So if ask it a really tough math question, ask it a question, give you some technical documentations or a blueprint on a house. It might surprise you and it might do it correctly.
How to convince my mother-in-law not to come over this weekend.
Exactly. And it might actually give you a good answer. It will.
I'm doing that right after.
That's the best thing, is try with something that only you know the answer to, or select few people might know the answer to.
So am I understanding that ChatGPT, chatbot, and chatbot AI are all different platforms?
ChatGPT is the main one.
So the other ones are...
Sorry, are you on your phone? Are you in the App Store?
No. I had downloaded them before,
Okay.
and I was like, which one do I
So,
use? So
the
I just never used it.
So the company is called OpenAI. That's who makes ChatGPT. So as long as the company that you download the app from is OpenAI,
Okay.
that's the official one. Anything else is going to be third party that are utilizing their APIs for it. So it's the same thing, but not from the main company.
So should I go to the store and do OpenAI?
You can, yeah, that'll get you the official one, and then there are other third party ones that offer pretty much the same thing, just using ChatGPT, if that makes sense, but it's not the main parent company.
Okay, but if I have ChatGPT, you still recommend going to OpenAI?
It's the same. It's ChatGPT is OpenAI. As long as the developer is named OpenAI,
Sorry,
then you're good. Yeah, no.
I'm not, I don't understand.
It's like if you went to Burger King and ordered a Big Mac. You know,
Yeah.
it's still maybe similar, but you can't get it from Burger King. But you know, it might still be similar.
Under the name of the application store, there's going to be something engraved in parentheses.
Correct.
That's the creator. So if it says ChatGPT on the top in very small letters, right underneath in gray parentheses, it says OpenAI. That's the one you want to go with. If it says Bard AI or any that's who the parent company is of that specific application.
Correct. So this will do the same thing. It's just not the official one.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier about POE.com. Is it along the line of what she was talking about?
That's so they don't have an app, but they have a website. So it's a website. Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
Sorry,
Any more questions? Yes, please. Let's jump into it.
Sir, sorry, I came in a few minutes late, so I didn't get you in. But your company is consultation as regarding like how to automate a lot of things. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
What's the name of the company again?
Velocity Next. Velocity Next.
Right now that we're done, we encourage you guys to come, shake their hands, get their information. That way you guys always have them as people to reach out to in your Rolodex. Yes, I still know what a Rolodex is. Go ahead, sir.
If you have open chat GPT, let's say, on your system, so you're not using it, the information put in the system is not being out on the internet.
No, if you're not using it, it doesn't scrape anything. It's only what you put into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me clarify that. When we say the system, so when you ask it something or provide something to the model, it doesn't go to the internet. What it's doing, it's using it as knowledge. So it's learning from it. So for example, if I were to put in my social security number and Gordon here were to say, hey, what's Mark's social security number? It will try to match up the two. And if it's stored in there, it's going to know, hey, this is Mark's social security number, and it'll present it to him. So that's because I provided it.
It's Mark's credit card.
That information. I provided it. So it's not that it's accessible. Somebody has to, after it's in there, somebody has to ask for it, has to prompt it. So if it never gets prompted, it never shows up. But believe me or not, there's people out there who are prompting the system to do things like that all the time. So just know that any type of sensitive data, you do not want to upload that in any type of document form into ChatGPT or any of the engines, or provided that information in your prompt itself. So.
How true is it when you have the AI write your article? That
Wait.
the Google search engine in this that it doesn't recognize that as a machine.
Yeah, it's 100%.
And would
What's the
that
question?
stay held?
How accurate.
What he asked was, when you ask ChatGPT to write you an article, how does the Google search know that it's not an AI generated article? Is that correct? So it actually does. It does know that it's AI generated article, because the AI generated article, if you read through it, there's certain words in there or certain structures that we don't naturally use because we don't speak that way. So that's where, if you're writing articles or letters in there, that's where you always have to read it and make those adjustments, because you will sound like a bot. Like, well, what's your name?
My name? Kevin.
Like, Kevin does not talk like this. Like, I know Kevin for years. He doesn't write like this. So if you write to people often, right, they'll know how you write. They'll know how you speak. So.
But second to that, there are some other applications that would spin that, make it like a.
Yeah, you have to do the extra work to go and take it and do those spins and everything else.
100%.
Articles index.
Gives you a roadmap.
Yeah, and those will. So there's actually a lot. It's funny, kind of off topic, but a lot of people use ChatGPT to help write essays in college.
Yeah.
And when you submit it through the online portals, they can tell that it was done through a generative AI program. And so there are other programs that you mentioned that will spin it to make it sound more not generated, and that will actually get through it.
Is that Quill?
If you find, I don't know if it's Quill. A Quill might help you with it, but there's a bunch that are out there that will do that, where you get the article and make it human sounding, and it'll get past all those blocks.
And here,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now you got writing your whole essay.
Exactly.
Oh, we have.
Yep.
Yeah, you can come over and scan my card. I don't have cards, I have digital cards.
Yeah, me too.
What's that?
Awesome, guys.
Oh, it's.
All the information.
Definitely. We'll send everybody registered a follow-up email. And again, like I mentioned earlier, this is being recorded. Give it a few weeks or so, and we'll see if we have this put out into our YouTube channel as well that SRAR is creating.
Do you use like, the highlighting thing like you've been saying? You can highlight what we talked about. How do we use it for?
Please go tell our staff that. I'm just kidding. Our staff is great. They'll do the best they can to put it for you and make it as easy and accessible as possible for you. But you might have to do a little bit of extra work too.
Because right now it's really over the top. It's so much. Right now, I don't know what can I really automate. Can I automate sending out listings? Can I do all of that? Because I really don't want to go do this around really this and that. I just wanted to do the consultation. How do I do that?
I would say come speak with Mark and he can definitely get you headed in the right direction.
Correct.
Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming today. Please, let's give our guest speakers a round of applause. You guys were amazing again and early today. Keep up with our calendar, guys. We have a lot of more events coming, so we look forward to seeing you guys at those events. Thank you all.
It just saves address, it doesn't pull the data.
I've never tried it like that. I've seen them around.